My brother has been telling his therapist my childhood as his own. I found out in a waiting room, and I only know because the therapist called me by his name. I was sitting there for my own appointment when a woman leaned out a door and said, "Marcus, he's ready for you." I looked up. "I'm not Marcus. I'm Daniel. My brother's the one who sees." She smiled warm and easy. "He's just running long. He'll be out in a minute." I nodded and went back to my phone. Then I heard my own life through the wall. The office door hadn't latched. I wasn't trying to listen, but my brother's voice came through clear, and he was saying, "The night my dad locked me out, it was snowing. I banged on the glass, and he just watched me from the couch." I stopped breathing. That happened to me. I stood up and walked closer to the door. "How old were you?" the therapist asked. "9, Kevin said. It's the first time I understood he wanted me gone. I felt something cold go down my spine, because those were almost my words. I'd said that exact thing to Kevin 2 years ago, drunk at a wedding, the only time I ever told anyone. He'd hugged me and said he was sorry he didn't do more. Now he was in there wearing it like a coat. The door opened before I could move. Kevin stepped out, saw me, and his whole face collapsed. "Danny, what are you? You take Tuesdays here?" I said. "So do I. Thursdays. Small world." The therapist appeared behind him, still smiling. "You're the brother. Marcus talks about you." "My name's Kevin," my brother said fast, too fast. "This is Daniel." The therapist's smile didn't move, but her eyes did, just slightly. "I'm sorry, I have you as Marcus in my file." "It's a nickname," Kevin said. I looked at him. "Since when?" I didn't make a scene. I just texted him that night. "The locked door story. That was me." He typed for a long time. Then, "I know how it sounds. Can we talk?" We met at a diner. He looked like he hadn't slept. "I couldn't afford therapy on my own name," he started, and I almost laughed. "You made up a name to save money." "No." He wrapped his hands around the coffee. "I couldn't say my own stuff. It was too, so I said yours. Your stories were easier to say than mine, because they didn't happen to you," I said. "That's the whole point of therapy, Kevin. It's supposed to be yours." He got quiet. Then he said the thing that changed the shape of the whole night. "They did happen to me, just not the way you think." I put my fork down. "Dad locked you out too. You were crying at the door, and I was 14 and angry, and I turned the deadbolt from inside and watched you through the glass for almost an hour before I let you in. I told you Dad did it. You were 9, you believed me. You've believed it for 20 years. The whole memory rearranged itself in front of me. The shape on the couch that watched me. It wasn't Dad. Dad's chair was empty in the memory now that I looked, and the shape was smaller, standing my brother's height. You told the therapist," I said slowly, "so you could confess it without confessing it." "I couldn't say I did it to your face," he said, and his voice broke. "So I said it happened to me. I've been telling her for 6 months how guilty this made me feel, calling it something Dad did, because if I called it mine, she'd know what I was." I stared at him across the sticky table. 20 years of hating my father for a door my brother locked, and the only reason I ever found out was a woman calling the wrong name into a waiting room. "You didn't steal my childhood," I said. "You gave me back yours. You just needed me to be the one who watched through the glass this time." Kevin nodded, crying, and I finally understood I hadn't misremembered anything. He had.